So we're live on YouTube now. Excellent. So welcome to the Podcasters Club, and digital is our way, and online is our way that we do everything. So it's a great pleasure to have and welcome you all every first and third Mondays. And officially, as the president of the club, we call this meeting to an open. I would want to acknowledge some of the guests that are here in our meeting today. And let me quickly tell you a little bit about Toastmasters for the sake of our guests, because we have a few guests and then we'll do some introductions as well. So let me quickly share screen. Okay. So for the sake of our guests who are new to Toastmasters, Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization. And what we really do is, it started about 96 years back, almost a century, very close. And it was founded by Dr. Rolf Smedley, more than 364,000 members in 145 countries. In UAE alone, we have over 150 clubs. And the Podcasters Club is so the CEO of Toastmasters is Daniel Rex. And it was, we have a lot of, it's completely made because of a nonprofit concern. There are many, many regions that we have, about 5 odd regions where we fit in is where Podcasters is generally a club which is fun, and we try to do the next level of communication and the next level of digital communication. We are part of Area 60. There are 3 clubs in our area, but it becomes a part of Division F. And there are 7 areas which become a part of Division F. And that's again a part of District 105, which comprises of UAE, Jordan, Oman, and Lebanon, which completely falls into Region 11. So from the earlier slide, this is where we all fit in. This is not a one-man show. There's a team of selfless leaders who come together to make and run and thrive through this entire platform that we create. Led by myself, Alicia, who's the president of this club. And the immediate past president was Toastmaster Samir Gipi, and he continues to mentor and support. So the platform is completely about mentoring and support all our members to make sure we get started in our journeys of speaking. We have Toastmaster Abida, Distinguished Toastmaster Abida, who is our VP Education. DTM Deepa is our VP membership. We have VP PR Jayaprakash, JP we call him. Our treasurer is DTM Lakshmi. Robin is our secretary, DTM Robin. And SAA that you already heard is Ashwin. And this team together selflessly puts together a platform which makes it very enriching for our members. And that's our drive that we achieve. Now, why the Podcasters Club is, this club is ideally an advanced and a specialty club because we believe in the next level of communication. So we all definitely stand up and speak, and that's what Toastmasters makes us comfortable with. But can we become confident speakers behind the screens? And in this virtual world, how can we become relevant, and how can our content become relevant behind the screen? So bloggers, moderators, podcasters, and can we get feedback and evaluation in terms of how we get into this and embark into this new journey of communication, the next level of communication, as we like to call it. So we invite you to come and practice your digital side. And this is a platform where you fail forward. And we give you this platform where it's a supportive community where you learn. And every time you stumble, there's someone to give you valuable feedback and use the community to make that happen for you. So as we said, feedback is the way to go. What worked, what did not work, and ways to improve is something that you can ideally get. What we do differently in our club versus many other Toastmasters club is we take a group evaluation from the attendees of the meeting. So all of you become evaluators to every content that you listen. So whether you are a seasoned podcaster or a digital creator, or you're a brand new who's just a consumer who's listening to content, you can give actual feedback to our presenters. And this is what makes it extremely valuable. Of course, Toastmasters helps people to become speakers, communicators, and leaders. And for our guests, there is a structured way of how Toastmasters International has a curriculum where you literally move through your levels of speaking, and which path you choose can be according to your career next level that you want to go and build on. So it's very powerful, and you can choose what you want according to which junction of life you are and which level you want. And it's got 5 certain levels in which you increase and grow your core competency. So it's a very, very powerful platform. And with podcasters, we give you the next level of communication where you can do this. So a lot of our members are working on the pathway speeches and creating content on that. So it was found by our founder, Ralph Smedley, and what he says is the best time that you're learning is in the times of enjoyment. So we invite you all to join our journey, and thank you for being here. With that note, I want to invite some of our guests to introduce themselves and tell us how they heard of us and where they, but before that, let me acknowledge some of our senior members. Guest Mariana, Ms. Ikin, please do introduce yourself, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Alifia. I'm very excited to be here with you today. And after that lovely presentation, I am even more excited. And you said it spot on. I am here to take my Toastmaster learning journey to the next level. And I am looking forward to learning and listening and very much enjoying the meeting today. Thank you very much. And back to you.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for being here. We have some senior members, DTM Deepa. Thank you for being here. I have DTM Lakshmi, who is here. Thank you for joining our meeting. DTM Abida, who is also a very senior member, and it's a pleasure to have her here. That's, I think, good. So let's have some guests introduce themselves, tell us where you heard of us and what you're looking forward in your journey and how can we help you. So in a quick 10-30 seconds, you can tell us. Manisha, would you like to speak? We can have Manisha, Zahida. Tell us where you're on mute, Manisha.
Yeah. I just start. Thank you, Alifia. I'm here because of the Toastmaster Samir, who introduced me, and then Deepa was very kind to join me and shared today's program with me. And I'm here. I'm very happy and excited to be here. I want to be a podcaster. That's my journey. And I will be learning a lot from all of you. And I'm really excited for that. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing our platform. Imtiaz, would you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you heard of us, what you're looking forward to. Imtiaz, Zahida. I can do a fastest finger first.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Imtiaz. Hello. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you?
Good. So what are you looking forward to from our, where did you?
I received your message today, so I thought why not I should join. Get something, what the topic is. Yeah, I think evening time, this is first time for me to join your session.
Awesome. Welcome in.
I would like to get some benefit from you from this session. Inshallah, I think I will be. And we'll be in touch in future. Yeah, I think.
Brilliant.
Yeah, coming days. Thank you. Thank you. Back to you.
Great. Manisha, do you want to speak officially? We heard a little background from your end. Oh, you spoke already. Sorry. Zahida, I meant. Sorry. Zahida, you there?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Honestly, it's the first time I've logged into the link and podcasters group. I didn't know that it was there, and it's a very interesting name, which is a very happening thing in these times. So I'm looking forward to your sessions and learn more from your session. And probably, I don't know, what I'm thinking is that you might give us some tips on how to create broadcast sessions.
Lots
So
coming up.
all the best for future and going forward. It's a
Excellent.
nice plan. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Do we have Sudhir? Are you here? And we have another Lakshmi today.
Yep. Good evening.
That
I'm
is
just
mine. The other Lakshmi is also mine. I was working and I saw it was getting late. I logged in from there without realizing I don't have the timing backdrop. So I just rushed inside. Sorry.
That's a good trick, you know, when we have less members, we can all come on with 2-3 devices. Yeah, Sudhir, sorry.
I'm driving on the way now, so I will join in later. I'm just
Okay.
good to be here. Yeah.
Safe driving, safe driving.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we have Zainab with us, or anyone who wants to speak up. Kamini, if you like to speak up, and then we can.
Hello, Toastmaster Alfia.
Yes.
I'm Kamini Shah, all the way from Oman, and I'm a Toastmaster myself at Morrison Muscat Toastmasters Club in Oman. And I have come today just to learn more on the podcasters. I wish to have more of the information on this. Thank you.
Excellent. Great.
I'd
Yeah.
like to, sorry to barge in. I'd like to know what's your inspiration behind selecting this name? Please share with us. Thank you.
We thought of going to the point. So if it's about the digital side of communication, and the podcast is one of the fastest way to grow in your digital form of communication. It's the only one which is not very crowded yet to like really show up and, you know, stand up. So that was, you know, we said, let's just get to the point. So we didn't want to beat about the bush, and we went to the point and we said, yeah, let the communication and be most impactful. And do let us know if that works. We're guessing it does.
Super, great idea. Super, keep it up.
Bravo. So how many of you are here because you want to become extremely powerful communicators? Raise your hand. So people shying behind the screen can raise their hands too through the emojis. So how many of you are here because you want to inspire and reach out to maximum people around the world and spread your message? You have 3, 4, 5. Awesome, brilliant. So the point is, we can do that standing in front of an audience. There are 2 ways of spreading your message around the world. You can be standing in front of an audience and get your voice across to say how many? 500, 1,000, 2,000. Even if you have a cricket stadium, you're going to reach about 3,000, 4,000 at a time. Am I right? So how many of you would actually want to sit without doing anything, just create something or speak only one time, and for a lifetime, even after you're gone, continue to be inspiring and continue to be heard and continue to be passing and spreading your word and your message to not only thousands or 2,000s or 5,000s, but like literally like millions and billions eventually? How many is here for that? And that's the power of the next level of communication. So I hope we are all on the right, and we are not there. None of us is there. We're all still finding our feet in the water. But the better, the sooner we get started. And it's not about Generation Z that's going to do it. It's your and our generation that's going to do it. So let's not think that the younger and the tomorrow's audience is more comfortable with that. But we've got to get there, and we've got to get our message out there. All with me? If you're key and excited, give me a high five, or give me a hands up, or give me a double thumbs up. Give me something, show me some emojis or whatever, right? So here we are to become extremely powerful communicators. Here we are to become the next level influencers into this region. And for that, I'm going to invite someone who is not just any normal standard, person in the world, right? So she is, now let me see if you guys can guess her, right? So she is our current club growth director, but she's been awarded as the best division director in Toastmasters and a lot of extra laurels. She's been district PR, she's been division F director at one point of time. She's been awarded as the outstanding Toastmaster of the year. And so with all that, you can tell that her communication skills are definitely 10 levels up than what we really need to be, right? And if that person is going to tell you about how can we get into this digital way of communication, how exciting is that? Is it exciting or not? Are we excited?
Very.
So let's bring it on for DTM. DTM for our guest is Distinguished Toastmaster. That's not just anybody who gets that title. Okay, you've got to really work and you've got to prove yourself and reprove yourself to get that title. So Distinguished Toastmaster Deepa Surendra, take it over.
Thank you, President. It was really lovely, and I got that confidence which is required for all of us to speak in front of a crowd. I hope all the introductions are like this sweet and lovely and pushing and encouraging. Thank you very much. Now, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening. How many of you, I know here we have an international crowd, but let me remember the movies I used to watch or wherever we go in my country. Okay, the mornings used to be like Kausalya Supraja Rama. This was the thing we used to hear. Yeah, Lakshmi is showing her hands up. This was the thing, like morning means this Suprabhadam, that is like good morning, a song, a religious song has to be played. But nowadays, what is happening? Alexa, can you please switch on the lights? Alexa, can you please switch on the coffee machine? Alexa, I don't know what is going to come after this, but this is our morning messages now. So we are a generation who have seen the Kausalya Supraja also, and then this Alexa era also. How many of you use Alexa over here? Can I see a hands up? Yeah, Alifia. Okay, and any other? Let me see. Any other person is here? Because Alifia, I'm sure she's tired of tired of talking now. Any other Alexa fans?
Manisha has raised her hand.
Manisha, yeah. Are you using Alexa? You are on mute.
Manisha, you're on mute.
Yeah, not this. I don't use Alexa. My hands were raised for the before when Alifia had asked.
You can raise it down. Okay, now our DTM Abida is here. Our
My
VP.
son. My son, huh? Not me. My son.
Okay. So how for what and all he uses this particular device?
To wake him up. I don't know what else. Remote. Everything is remote. So basically mechanical. I don't understand anything much, but I keep asking what's happening.
Okay. Do you have an advice for DTM Lakshmi? How she can use it to control or tame her cat? I think we can use the Alexa for that also. And
Alexa, keep the cats away.
Some magnetic frequency has to be, triggered from the device. Anyway, now we will not have a full-fledged session over here on digital hacks, but we will or I will give the hacks in between the sessions. Now for this Alexa thing, let me start by giving one small tip. If for Alexa users, you don't have to scream with all these 1 to 10, instructions. I'm not very sure whether Alifia is using the set of instructions can be recorded and it can be played at once. Like if it is a regular set of instructions for a day, then please use it. please set it and then just lie down for another 15 minutes in the morning. So this is a hack which can be used, and for DTM Lakshmi, don't 10 instructions for your cat can be recorded. That's what it meant. Okay, now let's start with our first content, and our content guide here is our own lovely Toastmaster Deepika, and she had asked for an embarrassing moment or a good digital experience. And this is what she shared with me. I hope I can share that with the crowd, Deepika. So I have connected a big screen with my laptop to avoid straining my eyes. Okay. She has a set of beautiful glasses, but still she is afraid of straining her eyes. Okay, this is the situation, which means that during a call, it seems that my eyes have some orientation problem like this. There is a big screen and here is the Zoom screen. There is a big screen and this is something like this. Okay, this is what I got it. And I'm not able to focus. This was her problem. In one of the Toastmasters session, I was doing exactly the same. And after the call, someone who specializes in eye and hand coordination or orientation offered me a free consulting to fix my issue. Any other person had the same problem? I've seen this happening in multiple trainings, because many of our trainers use two screens and they will be presenting, and while presenting, what is the basic what we say, that if you have to have a good connection with our audience, you don't have to look for Alifia's eyes here or Mariana's eyes here and Abida's eyes here, because Abida must be sitting some other corner for though she is on the right side for me. Okay, I have to just straight away look into the camera over here in that small spot, though I'm straining my eyes. But if the presentation is somewhere on the right side with a big screen, what to do? So with that solution, I request Deepika to share that solution, and before starting the content presentation or before performing her role as the content guide. Over to you, Deepika, with a loud round of applause. Deepika, the screen is yours. Please give us the hack your consultant has mentioned.
Sorry, DTM Deepa, your voice is ringing. I couldn't hear you properly. Can you please repeat?
Okay. Now, am I audible? Okay. I'm not sure whether my digital hack session is interrupted with the internet. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so Deepika, what we were talking is like, please read out the evaluation for your content presenter, Toastmaster Nora. And before that, please give us the solution for this multiple screen setting also, which you had learned from that particular person. Over to you. Good luck. You're on mute.
Sorry, I have not managed to find a solution, to be quite honest. So I am right now looking into my laptop, but I do have big screen attached next to it. So sometimes what happens is that when I'm giving a speech, people think that probably I'm looking somewhere, but I'm actually, I am focusing through the big screen. So probably I open the floor for this, for some advice, because I've not managed to find out a solution for this. So let me know if there is any advice that you guys can give me. I'm open for the feedback. But now coming back to the presenter this evening, we have podcaster Nora, and she is going to present her content on the title Surrounded by Psychopaths. A very interesting title chosen for the podcast. So I'm really looking forward to listening to podcasters Nora's content with rapt attention. So in fact, she had presented her content last week also, and she was given some feedback. So she has taken that feedback into consideration And I'm sure she would have incorporated that feedback into her postcard for this evening. So with these words, I hand it over to podcaster Nora. Nora, the floor is all yours and best of luck.
Distinguished Toastmaster Abida will be presenting the podcast.
Yes, I'll be presenting because due to unavoidable circumstance, she's not here. I'm
okay, sure.
I'm going to share.
About that. Yeah. Okay, so my best wishes to podcaster Abida. Over to you.
I'm sharing Nora's content first. So this is all hers. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right.
I hope you can see the screen. Now I'm managing to look into my screen here.
Hello and welcome to Higher Frequencies podcast episode, Surrounded by Psychopaths. A coworker recently recommended to me a book called Surrounded by Psychopaths by Thomas Erickson. I chuckled at first, as now I genuinely believe that everyone most probably thinks that their problems are caused by a psychopath. Could be the only explanation to their chaotic relationship with them and the destructive outcomes. A part of me felt that this has become too much of a cliche, and that we are using that term mainly to shift blame responsibility as scapegoats from our troubling woes. Even though, deep down under, we do secretly believe that they are the catalysts of such disasters in our lives. After curiosity took the best out of me, I read the book, and let me tell you, my friend, you're not imagining them being psychopaths in your life. They are what they are, so let's call a spade, and a psychopath a psychopath. Do you understand the amount of danger to have someone like that around you without being able to identify them? Or even worse, being reluctant to admit whom they are. Therefore, I wanted to share these valuable findings with you to enlighten you and spread light on your darkest matters. The book talks about how common psychopaths surround us in our lives, and being surrounded by one in any form of relationship, as a spouse, as a family member, a boss, a friend, etc., is a guaranteed recipe to disaster. But how could they be so dangerous? Mainly because they lack empathy towards others, and even worse, a conscience afterwards. It's not that they don't feel emotions, it's just they choose not to feel them for others, and would always prioritize themselves over anyone's expense. They feed on exploiting others to do all the work and then getting away with doing the least possible work. When all is good and done, they move on to the next victim of fortune as they leave behind a trail of chaos and disaster that can come in form of self-satisfaction. In this episode, we would like to protect yourself through a basic defense against psychopaths. Number 1, increase your self-awareness. Number 2, learn how to recognize psychopathic behavior. Number 3, decide how much do you value your worth and self-respect. Most people could be categorized on a basics of DISC language in colors of red, yellow, green, and blue. The color association matches with behavioral categories based on Williams-Marston theories and consists of 4 main types: red for dominance, yellow for influence, green for stability, and blue for compliance. And the most interesting actualization in this book showcases the fact that psychopaths, are you ready for this? Are colorless. They would camouflage themselves into any color of the other person or victim to embody them, mind, body, and soul. This act of false display is charming. It lets them enter their victims' lives with open arms as they manipulatively take over for their own sole benefit. The game plan. To achieve their main goal, their action plan is to use your own behavior against you. They can con virtually anybody using what they learn about them. Their purpose is always the same, to get what they want, just play differently depending on each character. For the red, they will enter their lives as their confidant and gain their trust by displaying courage and confidence, attributes that mirror the dominant red style of behavior. They will keep advising you with stray leads to stray paths and come back empty-handed. They will get rid of the closest members of your inner circle that can seem like a threat to them. For the yellow, since they are more of social creatures, therefore the psychopath will cut the blood supply flow by consistently criticizing them and shaking their sense of self-confidence. This will lead to self-isolation and seclusion with the psychopath alone, which is extremely dangerous in being more vulnerable to a stronger grasp of manipulative control. For the green, they enjoy peaceful stability and therefore non-confrontational in nature and would try their best to keep things together. Therefore, the psychopath would use the non-confrontational and supportive nature against them with consistent arguments, cohesive pressures, exploiting the caring nature supply to the max. For the blue, they are compliant, meticulous in keeping their business in compulsive nature of order. Since they don't rely to self-identify their sense of worth from relationships, a psychopath just needs to shake that solid foundation of their orderly world using gaslighting techniques where they would make them question their own reality by making sure their objects are not in order, mislead, giving them incorrect information, get them to appear incompetent in front of others, eventually get them to lose their minds for a better control measure or an endgame. Careers. Interestingly enough, psychopaths enjoy upholding careers of power, so don't be traumatized if you come across the psychopathic boss. Based on the British psychologist Kevin Dutton's research, psychopaths are more common in the following professions, which gives them power, money, and excitement, and the opportunity to control other people and dominate their lives. Jobs like CEO, lawyer, media job, TV, radio, sales, surgeons, journalists, police officers, religious leaders, chef, civil servants. Common manipulation techniques come various in forms, such as arbitration, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, gaslighting, unfathomable smokescreens, love bombing, triangle drama, silent treatments, and the list goes on. The question is, how to handle it? Well, you have two choices. Number 1, offer resistance. A, break the pattern. B, become a broken record. C, deprogramming fear, worry, and guilt. D, put manipulation into words. E, destroy the manipulations once and for all. F, explain your conditions for your continued relationship. Number 2, leave. In the end, you must ask yourself the question, is this relationship worth investing in? In a nutshell, you must understand this concept. Like yourself. Love yourself. Psychopaths are extremely cowardly. They pounce on the weakest member of the flock. Fortify your sense of self-esteem and self-respect rather than to be a consumable prey. Always remember that they are exhausting energy parasites and that you cannot stay in an environment that hurts you. In the end, my friends, a leopard never changes its spots, which means that it is impossible for psychopaths to change their character. But you can. The best solution, my friend, is to get up and go. No matter who they are and how intertwined you are with them, blood or not blood, distance yourself, leave before they suck your blood dry, and move on to the next victim. Love yourself, get up and go. Thank you for tuning in to Higher Frequencies podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more.
I'm sure Deepika can take it over now.
Yeah, thank you, Titi and Deepa. Since Noora is not here, so I do not know who is going to capture the feedback and would pass it on to her. So is it TM Abida?
Yes, I can do so. I can just
Okay.
jot down the points. Otherwise, is it on recording? I mean, she wanted.
It's live on YouTube, so we will
Right.
share the link.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic.
Right.
Live on our
Okay.
YouTube.
All right. So this feedback, of course, is targeted towards the podcast that we have just listened by podcaster Nora. So the title was Surrounded by Psychopaths. You know, since this is a digital platform and we can't see her, her voice is her identity. And when I say the voice is her identity, is basically the voice, and the quality of voice plays a very, very important role in the effectiveness of the podcast. And I truly believe that she has done true justice to this aspect of the podcast, in the sense that, you know, when she said, oh, that's a game plan. So her variety of voice and the quality actually changed. And then she said, well, camouflaged. And then she said, oh, interestingly enough, the CEOs and lawyers and so on. So I could see that she has incorporated the feedback given to her in the last podcast, and she has done justice to the feedback being given. So well done on that, podcaster Noora. Another thing that I quite liked about your podcast is the order of the content, which is that, you know, it was quite structured. The way you organized it is basically you identify the problem, and then you gave us that what are the various type of psychopaths we have. Then you link it with the disc, that is how the color association, it matches with the behavior of different types of psychopaths. And then of course you offered solution to the problem as to how do we kind of not feel threatened by the psychopaths when they are in our company, and how to mitigate the risk if at all we run by being in the company of psychopaths. So again, very well done, and it was quite supported by the material that you chose. In fact, at a couple of places she mentioned about authors also, and so it showed that she has done enough research and she has used a credible source of information to present her podcast, which was really good. Now, coming back to the area where she can improve, and of course, I would like to open the floor for further discussions. One thing is that, use of sound effect. In podcasting, the sound effect enhances the audio enjoyment. And this is something which I found that it was missing a little bit, because, at places, extremely danger and vulnerable, I could see the happy musical tone, so probably the music that she used was not really apt with the content, and it was not flowing seamlessly. That's where something, I felt that, because at a couple of places I felt that, the type of story she's narrating, it's not a light-hearted story. It is a serious story. She's talking about a problem and offering a solution. And when we talk about these serious stories and the serious content, we generally read it as a matter of factly stories, rather than, having a bounce in the voice and using the right music. That's where I think this is one area she can really focus upon in her next podcast. But other than that, it was really fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And she said, let's call spade a spade. And I would say that you are a winner, a true winner. So we call you a winner, podcaster Nora. All the best to you. Thank you. Now, DT and Deepa, I would, of course, open this for others to give a feedback on her content. Over to you, DT and Deepa.
No, actually, you can call out names and request for the recommendations.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so let's start with our own TM Abida, who has been actually, filling in for Nora. So, yes, TM Abida, just share your feedback.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepika. The title itself, I was totally engrossed. Yes, indeed, we are surrounded by psychopaths. Yeah, the invisible psychopaths everywhere. So to the extent that my daughter, she had to travel, so I've just told her, be careful, you need not just get gullible, be a bit suspicious about everyone, around you, because this is the mother's heart. So I'm like that. Observing is different, but the psychopaths are around us. So what I felt about this, I totally got engrossed. And somewhere here and there, otherwise I would have gone for the theory part and, dealt with all the theories she had brought in. But this time I was lost. Maybe because my content is next. So that's where I was lost maybe. And the music I felt was apt. But here and there, as you mentioned, now I'm not getting biased. This is what I wanted to mention. I think it should have been improved a bit. The music would have changed. I've been struggling a lot for that. Yeah, the change of music. So it's easy to have the same tone of music, but as time goes on, I think we would work on that with the music. So I think Nora also will do that. So apart from that, my favorite topic, psychopaths, and I enjoyed thoroughly till the end. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you, TM Abida, for your constructive and valuable feedback. I'm sure that Nora would definitely learn from this and improvise on her next podcast. So now let's call on our guest, Mariana. Mariana, would you like to give us the feedback on Nora's podcast?
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepika. This has been really my first ever podcast that I hear through Toastmaster, and it took me a while to understand what was going on and also be fully present in the moment. I feel that Nora's voice was made to be listened to on a podcast. She has a very inviting voice, very soothing voice. And like you said, she knew when to make it a bit tense or make it a bit fragile. And I think that worked really well with the theme that she chose, a psychopath. Where I was having a bit of difficulty, and for myself, I would have seen a bit more of, I would have liked to hear more of pauses. The pause actually gives an opportunity for the listener, especially when there is no video. The pause gives the opportunity for the listener to absorb what is being said and then to think about it for a minute. How does what she's saying reflects on me? What do I think about what is happening? So it's a way to invite the listener in the podcast. Since the physical and the eye contact is missing in a podcast, all we have is a voice. And I felt that if I was given a few seconds here and there between paragraphs between actions, between progressing of movements, I would have been more involved in the story and I would have more concentrated and drawn in. That's all I had to say. And she is very brave to do what she has been doing and to what she did. And I will highly recommend her to continue doing it. She was born to be a podcaster. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, dear Mariana. That's such a wonderful feedback. And I'm sure Nora would listen to it and she would really feel happy. Looks like that our time is up. So DTM Lakshmi, am I seeing it right that our time is up and now we have time for the next podcast? Okay. Okay. All right then. So I will zip my mouth and I'll be quiet. Over to you, DTM Deepa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Deepika. She is one of the new members in our club, and she has done a wonderful content guide performance. And thank you very much. And I take this opportunity to thank our area director, Toastmaster Mariana, as well, for her wonderful feedback for Noora. I'm sure Noora will be really happy that she presented, she sent the presentation or the broadcast to Abida. Now moving on, before that we have some digital hack to be presented, and that is for Deepika. Now, in my understanding, when we can split the screen presentation into two different screens, okay, one to our main to the screen, particularly what we are using, and the one the audience has to see. Okay, that has to go to the other screen. So if you are looking at the other screen, that means you, Deepika, has missed to set her own screen. Okay, so once that particular audience screen is set up, and that will go on along with our screen also, but we don't have to look at or cross check with the other one. We have to just trust on the setup. It will move by itself. So that will save straining of eyes, everything, and our notes will be beautifully here in front of us, and just go through that. But only again, one more suggestion over there. When we are looking at the camera and when we are reading, there is a slight difference in the eye. I mean, even small, 1 inch or 1 centimeter. If you are looking 1 centimeter down on the screen, that will be visible for the audience. So, it's always better to keep bullet points and then move either the arrow buttons or use a clicker. So this will come over practice, and then for that practice only we are sitting in or attending all the Toastmasters meeting, maximum possible every day, maybe three meetings, and then practice this particular thing. So initially there will be some strain, but we will become master presenters who knows how to cheat the audience. That's what a hack is, right? Okay, now moving on. To our next presentation, next content is from our own distinguished Toastmaster, our own VPE, distinguished Toastmaster Abida. And to manage the session, we have our president, Toastmaster Alifia, over here. So with a big round of applause, let's invite our president, Toastmaster Alifia, to lead the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Alifia.
So we're giving that opportunity to our area director, Ahmad Abdullah, to do the content guide for DTM Avida session. So Ahmad, please take it over.
Great, that is really a blessing. Over to you, Ahmad.
Thank you, DTM Deepa. Thank you, Alifia. Yeah, it's like we're like musical chairs. Thank you. Thank you so much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back. I haven't been to podcasters for a while, but it's good to be here tonight. And what a special occasion, DTM Abida. The last time I attended podcasting was you were presenting, and tonight you are presenting again. So that's amazing. I actually missed your podcast. It's good to be back. So DTM Abida, would you like to tell us a little bit about the podcast that you're about to share, just to give us a little insights before you start?
Thank you so much. This podcast is my own story. It's storytelling. And with all the other feedbacks which I received previously, I was meddling a lot with music, which I couldn't do in the best possible way. So this time I have done something different. The voice and music is not there, just to inform you ahead, but there's going to be something which is going to excite you, hopefully. And let's see how it works out for us.
Okay, and what is your podcast called? What is this piece called?
Road Trip to Kodaikanal. Kodaikanal is a place, a hill station, as we see Salala, right? In the state of Tamil Nadu in India. A road trip to Kodaikanal.
And Kodaikanal.
Yeah, it's kind of a canal. Yeah, Kodaikanal.
Nice.
Kodai
In
is summer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kodai is summer. So the typical vacation to Kodaikanal. It's like Salala.
Interesting.
You can
It's like
imagine.
Salala for Oman and Ras Al Khaimah for Dubai.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because since I'm totally like I've got I got into the thinking that yes, all of you are from Oman. See, look at this. This is how we behave. So I'm going on and on with what is that? Salala. So you have Ras Al Khaimah here, right? Okay.
Nice. And how long is the piece? Is it how long is the piece? The podcast about
10 minutes. It's
10 minutes.
10
Okay,
minutes.
so for the next 10 minutes, we are all going to be from Salala and from Kodaikanal. So yeah, I can see how excited you are. So we can't wait to see. So let's go. Let's play it.
Let's see how exciting it's going to be. Salubrious destination. Right.
We are going to go with you. We're going to be with you on the journey.
So
all right.
in this one, everyone listens because all of us are going to evaluate her content.
Yeah, so I'm
listens.
correct. So listen up because I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to be asking you questions. So take notes. All right. So over to you, DTM Abida.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Hi there. This is Abida Akhtar with another episode of Lessons Learned in My Life. This is a podcast on my own story, the adventures of life which made me brave and strong as a fortress as I stand today. Mishappenings don't arrive with a bell on its neck. It all happened when I was in college. I was a young damsel with stupendous burst of energy, loved by my near and dear ones, my neighbors and relatives, of course. I was the apple of their eyes, and I was popularly called the model of my locality. When I walked on those streets of Shingara, Chennai, it was nothing less than a catwalk. Believe me or not, those were the days. I was the Ravina Tandon of Mollywood. To rewind my story, I lost my father when I was 14 and my mother was in Abu Dhabi fending for us. We were 3 sisters and 1 brother. The naughtiest one was me. My elder sister shouldered the responsibility of taking care of her siblings while my mother was away. She used to take crucial decisions, especially with me. One peak summer in May, my neighbors decided to spend their vacations in the salubrious Kodaikanal, the much-loved hill station in Tamil Nadu, India. And whom do you think they would have called? Their favorite, me, of course. And my neighbors were my uncle's besties too. So 2 families got together and decided to go to Kodaikanal. A big no came from my sister. Known to be a drama queen of the yesteryears and not less now, I put up a lot of tantrums and finally succeeded in getting her consent. We took a bus which departed in the evening. We were happy, enjoying the journey, singing, and I was the only one braying aloud while others were singing mellifluously. The bus stopped all of a sudden with a screeching noise. The night had set in and it was pitch dark. It was all lonely and scary, except for the crickets chirping. The ticket collector rushed to the bus driver and they started whispering. Kus, 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 kus. Then he turned on to us to communicate. It was like the captain informing about the shipwreck. We stayed still
Shh, he signaled, placing a finger on his lip, and said, duck down, duck down. He screamed. All of us bent ourselves and squeezed like a sponge. There was pin drop silence. Now, we could hear a lot of police and ambulances, sirens. The screeching horns of cars and some doors being slammed. Tap, 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 tap. Curiosity kills the cat. Who can stay that quiet? Me, never. I broke the silence. Quietly, I went to the window and peeped out. What did I see? Oh no, oh no. A man with a broken hand, hanging, running, screaming, 3 men following him, wielding huge butcher knives. What I witnessed was nothing but screams and cries. My aunt screamed out, what happened? What happened? And my uncle yelled on top of his voice, tell us, tell us. None uttered a word. They were only whispers. Fear and anxiety grappled us. My heart was panting, tap-lap, 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 and I was getting breathless. I could feel each pulse and the flow of blood in my body. The driver took to the wheels and drove with a great speed, uninterrupted, for an hour at least. All of us started breathing and sighing, calling out to the Almighty. When we entered the city, which was well lit, we sighed another and smiled at each other. But that was short-lived. Misfortune had to knock again. The bus jolted a lot and came to another halt. This time it was a check post, and we did not understand what was happening. People were running helter-skelter. Then came the climax of the situation. A mob came running towards our bus. The ticket collector again started his shh, shh, moosh, moosh. Imagine, I was the only young girl in the bus. 2 goons were holding burning torches. They started yelling, get down, or else we will burn this bus. Everyone in the bus started pulling out their baggages. They left the bus, except for me and my poor uncle, who was busy pulling his suitcase, which was stuck in the cabin. I was trying to help him out. He wouldn't let it go. I told him, leave, uncle, leave, let's go. Adamant as he was, he would not listen. Abida, my wallet, my money. How can I leave? Suddenly an idea struck me. I pulled off few clothes out of the suitcase. We managed to bring the bag down and we ran out of the bus. And within seconds, the bus was blazing like furnace. Behind our bus, there were 2 more and 3 and 4 buses and cars which were burning. We ran into the streets, anticipating more trouble. Some good Samaritans guided us to a scrappy, half-constructed building. We took refuge on the terrace. Again, we were instructed to put our heads down and hide. Being curious, as I was always, I looked out of the wall, and it was a horrible sight. The tires were burning and the engines were bursting. Dum, dum, dum. It looked as if a huge bomb was dropped in that area. We were all scared to death, appearing to be hiding from an unknown fear. After all, we did not know what was happening. After an hour or so, someone walked in with a torchlight. Now what? He was trying to beam the light on each one of us. I crumpled myself in a corner. My uncle picked up courage and asked, please tell us what is happening. Tell us what is happening. The old man answered, our Prime Minister is assassinated. When? 8:20 p.m. Oh no! How sad! Where? When? How? For which? We didn't get any answers. We were shattered. Our new friends, our bus inmates, shared their emotions. What next? Nature's call, of course, and hunger. We were all stranded. We came to know that the city we were in was Trichy. Some youngsters approached us
and offered washrooms at the nearby houses. We spent the night on the streets. The sun had risen by then, and in the morning, the ladies of that area gave us some breakfast. It was a kind gesture. Now, what I could see on the road was a charred skeleton of the bus, burned to the core, the remnants of our bus. The fury of the angry mob was a nightmare. Curfew was imposed. Now, my brave uncle thought of a plan. We had to reach some hotel. He borrowed someone's hero cycle and brought a bullock cart, as vehicles were not allowed to ply on the roads. We put up all our luggage in the cart and walked 5 kilometers until we reached a decent hotel. We stayed in the hotel for 3 days. By then, the curfew was lifted. I called my beloved family, informing my well-being, after which we engaged a taxi. We traveled from Trichy to Kodaikanal with a black flag and finally reached Kodaikanal, our much-awaited destination. No, we couldn't enjoy much as the country had declared a 7-day mourning period, which was adhered to. We just stayed in the hotel, walked to the beautiful lake in the evenings. Later, we returned home safely with all the memories of our ill-fated journey. These kind of incidents made me more courageous, and I encountered many more adventures which made me face challenges and fight my own battles bravely. That's it for now. More to come. Keep waiting until I come with yet another, my own story to keep you engaged. Signing off now is Abida Akhtar. Keep listening. Hi there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abida. Please give her a big round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Just give her a big round of applause. Very good. Now I know why you were excited. That was really, really good. Thank you, Abida. Abida, is this based on a true story, or it's based on a true story?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you all heard the podcast. Now let's talk about it. So I'm going to bring in who am I going to bring in? Alifia, I'm going to bring in you first. So let's talk about the story first. Tell me what are the highlights of the story for you? The key highlights. What do you take away from this, from the podcast?
The best takeaway was I did not snooze even 1 second. I was like pretty much, constantly, even if I would divert, because sometimes you tend to multitask or whatever, right? But she would bring us back with that motion, that sound effects, and the thing was beautiful. So I actually lived that experience with her. I could, feel what it was like, I could imagine, I could visualize the picture of what she was painting. So that was a highlight of the story. So I could experience in spite of being here. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. Indeed, absolutely. I agree with you. And I'm going to go over to Zahida. Zahida, are you there? Yeah, Zahida, are you there? Yes.
Hi,
yes. Hello. How are you?
Hi. I'm good.
Very good.
Very, very interesting. If you allow me to say something about
yes,
the
of course. Go ahead. Yes, absolutely.
And
Go ahead.
it's a very interesting story, a very sad one as well. So I was thinking to myself that the name should have been The Ill-Fated Journey.
The ill-fated journey. Okay.
Yeah, the ill-fated journey. I don't know why. So it was well said, and lots of points were very good. And I was just imagining them actually. I went in the imagination zone. So I heard the story and I made notes for just to share with her.
Yeah.
Abida, when she mentioned about the heart, about her heart was wild, and she made original sound of. I mean, she didn't make original sound. I mean, she just brought with her mouth. She made that noise. Had it been given the actual noise, the one you have on the TV, the original beats there, that sound could have brought more originality. And another area was great. The speed of the drivers while he rode on the while he was riding the car on the road with the screech of the noise. So the brake sound, that would have also brought in more reality, like suddenly. Otherwise, it was lots of areas she had brought in the sound, especially the crickets breathing, insect noise in between. That gave a real picture. And I was, it was. There's another thing I would like to say is that she was a little faster. If some areas she could have just slowed down a bit and let us feel the situation, that way. So, but otherwise, it was wonderfully told. I mean, she said it so well. I don't know, was it a live recording or was it already recorded? I mean,
it was recorded, right? Abida?
I recorded at 5:30 maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, it was very well said. But these are my observations, few of my observations.
Yeah, you made my job so much easier, Zahida. I had a question for you, but you just boom, you just went on. I love that. I love your excitement.
Thank you. No, I really like it. I like the concept. It's very interesting. And I was actually calling my daughter to come and sit and listen to the podcast. And this is the way forward. Actually, this is what it is. Many schools will be doing this as well. So very well done, Abida, and it was a very interesting story. Very interesting.
Thank you, Zahida. All right, so I'm going to go over to Manisha. Manisha, are you there? Some of you are behind the screen. I can't see you. Okay, Manisha is not around.
I will unmute myself.
Yes, Manisha. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Well, I can hear you, and I feel like I can see you, although I cannot see you.
Oh, so sweet of you. Tell me.
Okay, so Manisha, you heard the story, right? You heard Abida's podcast. Right? You heard it. Nice.
Right.
Now, when you think about your favorite stories, when people a story that somebody shared with you,
right?
What are some of what do you like about storytelling, and what did Abida do that you really liked tonight?
In Abida, I like Abida's voice. It was very captivating voice, very soothing voice. You would like to listen again and again to that voice. That was the best thing which attracted me to her story. In a storytelling, I would like people to, so engrossing that you just want to, you're waiting for the very second moment. What's going to happen? I like that flow, which keeps you captivated.
Yeah, her voice is captivating, you mean?
Definitely. Her voice is the stellar. It is very captivating. And I like her style of telling. I would like her. So these are the positive things which I really enjoyed. And what a suggestion would be that I in a story, I would like more modulations.
Like voice modulations.
Yeah, voice modulations.
For example,
like it goes up and down, and there's an action in the in the voice. If there's an action.
Yeah, and so what you mean is she could have used a bit of voice modulation in order to bring some of the emotions alive.
Yeah, I would. Yes. Right. Perfect.
I think I can add an example there. For example, when Abida spoke about, she said that she lost her father. I think, where was it? When you were 14, you lost your father when you were 14. When you mentioned that is that's a somber moment, so maybe your voice could have changed there, because it felt like everything was just happy, because you were very happy, a few seconds before you mentioned that, and then it was just exactly. I think this is what Manisha is talking about.
That's exactly you have pinpointed. So suddenly, if there is an emotion, like it was such a catastrophic event, so
correct.
It's if it can be brought out.
Yeah, thank you for that, Manisha. Absolutely, well spotted. All right, so I'm going to go over to who else am I going to go over to? I can go to Smita. Smita, over to you. Smita. Hi, Smita.
Yes. Hello. Good evening. I'm just trying to switch on my video.
It's okay. Yes, Smita. So your thoughts?
Yes. So allow me to be the devil here.
Okay.
And but before I do that, Toastmaster Abida, thank you so much. I'm new to podcasting, but I heard it as a listener. So my sincere views on how a listener would hear and how he would or she would feel. So I completely agree with the person who just I'm missing out her name.
Manisha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Toastmaster Manisha, what she mentioned. I made notes. So when you spoke about losing your father in a salubrious hill station, as far as and anything and everything that your entire podcast was about, everything was in the same tone. It had this, it was like I have been teaching English language to primary students. I'm a primary English primary school teacher, right? I have been there. So the way I would read out lesson, it felt like there was somebody reading out a lesson. And at any moment, the teacher would say, the bell has rung and we would like to continue the lesson tomorrow. So if I'm hearing a podcast and if it's a story and you want an ending, then I would want to be there. I would want those voice modulations. All those places where you brought in the onomatopoeic effect, all those dhum dhums and all those, I felt you didn't need to explain. For instance, if I see a snake, I don't have to say there I saw a snake and there it went hiss. I can just say, I opened the door and there hiss. So then I don't need to explain it, and that sound is there, and the people know that it's a snake. So all those places where you used, if you could just redo your script and see, you don't need to explain that thing. It would come out better.
Yeah.
Then all those places where you use the sound effects initially. So if your podcast was 10 minutes, the initial few minutes only you had the bus screeching to a halt when it came to when it met with an accident. There, when it met with an accident, it was a very grave situation. So that could have been brought out in some manner where it, we wanted to hear what happened to the accident. I mean, what happened? It sounded like an accident, but what happened there? So a little more we wanted to hear there. So, and the crickets chirping, all was very nice. But suddenly it felt as if too many sounds together in a 10-minute podcast clip. So the sounds could be spaced. Please take it from a listener's point of view. I'm not an expert. So I'm sure the experts sitting out here, because I was hearing all the experts who were telling, and I may be completely wrong on this. I may be completely wrong on it. So please pardon me if, my views are not in accordance with what actually a podcast is supposed to be.
Yeah.
There were two places where I felt, you hiccuped while recording. So since it is here, it's okay. But if you want to put it out on a platform, then I would suggest you re-record it. It should not have the hiccups, even the small. If I could catch, I'm sure everybody can catch it. So if you want to put in, then that should not be there. And that is actually from my side.
Thank you. Thank you, Smita. Please give Smita a big round of applause. I think. Thank you. I think you've captured it when you said I will be that you will be the devil's advocate. It's like, okay, let's see. Come on, Smita. But I think you did a good job, Smita. I think you were very objective. You did pinpoint very specific things that Abida could improve on. And Abida, just to sum it up, I think overall it was a very good podcast. Like I said, the last time I heard you, you were amazing. Today also, it was a great podcast. Obviously, there is an area of improvement for all of us. So I think you would take it on a good stride. Voice modulation is key because you want to bring the emotions up without, sometimes you may say a lot without actually saying anything. So just be careful with the sounds that you use, and your voice is the most powerful thing that you have. So use it to your advantage, and so that you can continue to captivate your audience. That's it from me. And now I'm going to hand it back to DTM Deepa. Back to you.
Thank you so much. If you permit me to just tell a few words. Yes, Deepa. Right. I was trying the technicality of cutting that pause. So that was running fast. I was trying more on technicalities because earlier I was given a feedback to work on my music. So I was trying and I was concentrating on those things, bringing in some noise. This is just a trial. As you could see, this after feedback, I'm going to improve. Yes, thank you so much, Smita. And the second thing I wanted to mention here is, if you would have heard my Red Riding Hood, you could have seen the tonality there, right? So here, as I was concentrating on my voice, I left on my modulation. So I need to balance that. Yes, I understood that. Yes, DTM Ahmed.
Yeah, DTM Abida, feedback is a funny thing, because we will always, every time we do a podcast or we do a speech, we will always be getting feedback. And sometimes the feedback could be contradicting from the last time. So I think the best thing what I would strongly recommend is to really focus on the listener. If you share your podcast from a listener's perspective, everything else, all the technicalities and all the other things that need to happen with time, you will perfect it because no one is an expert, but your voice is the stronger asset you've got. That's it. So use your voice to bring the emotions, to really create the scene without sometimes even saying much. So there you go. All right. That's it. But, thank you, Abita. And now I'm going to hand it over to DTM Abita. DTM Deepa. DTM Deepa, over to you.
Thank you, our area director, Fantastico Ahmed, for stepping in and then conducting that wonderful session, content presentation, content guide part. And I'm sure DTM Abida has benefited a lot because many experienced podcasters are there who are attending our clubs and giving us feedbacks. And Toastmaster Smita, she is critical and constructive feedback, a person who can give critical feedback in a constructive manner. That's what I experienced so far. And I'm requesting her to join our club for last 2 months, and she'll be joining our club for to add value, and she will be and she will start the podcasting soon after joining. So I'm sure we are adding value here, and we are giving value to our people also. I started podcasting. I'm not a professional podcaster. I'm learning and I'm gaining confidence. But what I can see from Distinguished Toastmaster Abida's presentation today, she has improved a lot. She has improved a lot. A lot means a lot, and she is learning everything. The professional podcast, when we listen, we understand the person who is narrating. He is one person. The person who is writing is another one. The person who is handling the technicalities, it's a teamwork. But here, for me or Abida and our podcasters sitting over here, many are individuals managing their podcast, and they want to come up in the same way. And we are getting different feedbacks from different people's different expertise. One is commenting on the technicalities, the other is commenting on the personal. So this is what I felt as a listener. So this is what is a podcasters club, and this is how we are benefiting our members as well. And guests, I thank our guests for coming over and spending time and giving positive feedbacks to our content presenters. Now, moving on, I'm supposed to give some digital hacks. So related to podcast, we have some attendees. They are asking for how to start a podcast. So first and foremost thing, install one free app on your mobile or laptop, and then start recording. That is the first and foremost step you have to do. Don't worry about any other thing. We are Toastmasters. We have the content with us. So to get confidence, one of your speech which has been written long back or delivered in front of an audience, that will be good enough to start with, and then come over here, join with us, and then deliver or present that particular content. You will get enough confidence from our members to become a professional podcaster. And this is what we are expecting from a distinguished Toastmaster Lakshmi, to install Audacity or Anchor in her mobile, and then record her content, and then next meeting, herself and our division director, distinguished Toastmaster Sudhir also will be presenting along with her. Again, this is second time we are recording this particular thing, so no change. Okay, let me share some of the tools which can be installed, which can be used for podcasting. Logic Pro X. I don't know. I'm not at an experienced podcaster to use this particular one. It costs $199.99. That means around $200,000. We don't have to go for that at this moment. But when we become experienced podcasters and with an Mac OS operating system, piece, what is that? Device with us, then please let's go with that. Maybe when our club is established, we will have our own studio with all these softwares. Alifia, please write it down. We will go for that. Yeah. And then Adobe Audition is another software which we can look at that moment when we grow into a podcasters community, worldwide podcasters community, and provide all these things to our members. Another one, free one. This is for novice and intermediate podcasters, GarageBand. Okay. And then Heidelberg Journalist, Audacity is there for experienced Toastmasters, and Audacity is little outdated in its looks and etc. But it is a wonderful tool. We need to have little bit of patience to use the audios and the mixing, the mixer, etc. But we had wonderful presentation 2 weeks prior to this, and it is available on YouTube. If you have patience to search on YouTube, we have just shared the YouTube link over there. Please go and search for Ashish's presentation, and then you will get it. He wonderfully explained how you can mix all the audio or the voices, different voices, as distinguished Toastmaster Abhida was trying today. Then the other one, the easiest one, the one I am using is the Anchor, and that I just installed that in your any phone. Very easy. If now itself, please go to Google Play, search for Anchor software, ANCHOR, and then download it. DTM Lakshmi, please do that now. And and then this is like, in that what we can do, just open create your profile or account, and then you can, the recording is as easy as we send voice message in WhatsApp messages. I'm sure all of you are aware of sending a WhatsApp voice message, and in Anchor we can do that. And it's very easy if you want to add music, but maybe we'll take little time which music is the apt one for this particular content. So that we may require little time for mixing. But throughout the entire podcast, if you are okay to have the same music, then please, Anchor is the best one at this point of time. I'm sure this same question will not be repeated in future, because now itself, please do it. Ready? How many of you will be doing that now? Okay. Okay, I got a what is that, thumbs up from our Fantastico AD and our Deepika also. That means there is 100% surety. Yes, Mariana did it. Yes, thank you, AD. Now moving on to our next segment. It is external content, and that will be done again by our distinguished Toastmaster Abhida. May I request to DTM Abhida to be on the screen, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, so over to you, Madam DTM Abida, for the external content.
Because now I have to look at the screen. Somebody please solve this problem. We have to keep looking at the screen because I have a screen there. Right. So next time we will solve this problem, isn't it?
We will have one session how to split the screen, and then we will resolve that for everybody. Please, Deepika, join at that session for sure.
Sure. What this is really telling is you don't need to be technical. You can't even handle a screen, but you can come out with a beautiful, awesome podcast. And that's how easy it is to have a podcast. So everyone here who's not done the first one, get started. So let's hear more from the DTM Abida.
So now I'm just going to share a podcast, which is on Apple Podcast. What do? I put the screen here, and I'm trying to pretend you're looking at the camera. I'm not technical. The 10-minute life lesson podcast by Cleveland Payne. Yeah, not Payne, Payne. You can ask me, you can just tell me how to pronounce it if I'm going wrong. Payne. I'm going to share the screen here. Right? It's visible?
Yes. You shared sound, right?
Yeah, the series of podcasts. I'm going to play this, Being Boring on Purpose. Maybe I'll stop midway just to have a
feel.
Know how what happens. I describe myself as boring on purpose. What is it?
Welcome to the 10-Minute Life Lesson Podcast. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. When this timer hits 9 minutes and 55 seconds in this recording, you'll have a fully developed life lesson that you can take with you and begin immediately implementing. The podcast falls under the umbrella of my greater personal development efforts, all under the Your Better You brand. For information on accountability coaching or to gain access to tools, tricks, or life hacks, visit yourbetteryou.info. Thank you for joining me on the journey today. Now, here is this week's life lesson. How do you describe yourself? For years, I have described myself as a boring person, but I am boring on purpose. And there's a real reason behind that, and it really comes down to my personality and just my levels of stress and levels of tolerance of stuff. I am a person who likes to be expressive, likes to talk in the microphones, but don't like to be in front of large crowds of folks if I don't have to. I've learned to take on public speaking and take on those roles and pretty good at leadership. But if I've got to stand in front of a crowd and rock a party, that's not me. I don't like drama. I don't like real conflict, to be honest. And I don't like dealing with people who are just all over the place and flailing around because that's how they get attention. I, in fact, hate those types of people and don't need to be around those people because I don't want to deal with the drama. So I described myself as boring on purpose. What does that mean? Well, here's the deal. I go to bed probably around 9 o'clock, 9:30 every night, if not earlier. If I can get my daughter to just calm down and go to bed early, we probably go to bed at 8 o'clock every night. And that sounds pretty dull because that means I'm not up late at night doing stuff or going out and doing things. In contrast, I wake up at 4 every morning, and by 5 o'clock in the morning, I have to be alert to start working on some podcast newsletter stuff that early every single morning. This is a carryover from when I worked in radio and had to get up at 3 in the morning to make sure I was actually up and aware because I had to actually physically leave my house and be at the station, have everything turned on by 5 in the morning to prepare for basically the same similar thing. So being boring on purpose was a job requirement because I had to get to bed early so I can get up early to get ready for what I had to do. And it was what it was. It was worth the trade-off of not staying out late to do things, not doing as many fun things because I was working towards to deal with. I made time for my wife. I made time for my daughter, made time for my stepson, time for my extended family. It's time for friends because friendship takes time to maintain and you just have to kind of work those things out. But for the most part, I got up, I went to work, I came home, I wound down, I went to sleep so I can get up early to go to work the next day. Same thing applies now. I'm not working directly in radio 8 days a week, but every morning I get up early. I prepare for my own personal work, my own personal company that goes on before I go to my real job. The real job that sometimes goes 10 hours, sometimes goes even longer than that, to come home, decompress, spend some time with the family, and, prepare all over again. Luckily, my stepson is old enough that he has his own things to do, full-time job, full-time life, girlfriend, all that other stuff that, he's not just hanging around, just waiting for someone to entertain him. And the younger is getting old enough to entertain herself, which is also sort of a issue in its own. But we don't have to sit there and watch her do every single thing all day long, which allows me to come home and decompress and spend more time just talking, chilling with my wife. She herself, while not probably calling herself boring on purpose, is not exactly the most spontaneous person in the world. She spends a lot of time just sort of doing nothing after time is up. And she fills that with reading a lot of books and just doing crafts and things to basically spend that time. Why did I spend all that time rambling about being boring? And because all I do is work all day. Because this is about the fundamentals of being boring on purpose. Why would you want to be boring on purpose? Well, you don't want to be boring, because boring people bore people. Boring people are hard to deal with. Boring people are really just a pain to just interact with, because they don't have any life in them. They don't do anything. They don't do anything because they don't. They are boring. They bring the party down, not so much on purpose, but because it's who they are. So the first thing you have to make sure about being boring on purpose is making sure you're not just flat out boring, which isn't so much a bad thing. But if you're trying to, live the nightlife and be out and about, and you really are sort of a downer personality, you have to just kind of work that out. You can hang out with folks who are also sort of on the low level and be great. You can also have a big group of friends who are really high level, and they just sort of bring you in and hope to bring you up and sort of tolerate you, which I said it on purpose, because you're a good friend. It's like, this is my boy. He's just like this. He's a little low energy, but we love him, and he's a great guy. Deal with it. He's my boy. He's hanging with us. You have that. I have a lot of friends like that who was like, Jay just is sort of low energy. He does his thing. He's going to keep up with us. Don't worry about it. He's not angry. He's not bitter. He's not being aloof. He's just who he is. When I go out with people and there's new people around, there's a quick disclaimer. And by the end of the night, things are cool. But in most cases, I don't deviate from me being me. And if they turn out to be dramatic airheads, I'm probably getting an Uber and headed home. And my friends understand that. So start out by making sure that you're not a boring person on the end, or if you are, you have your parameters, you have your ways to cope with that. You can do what you need to do. I know a lot of introverted people, get stuck in that level where they just get someplace and they can't get out of it. That's part of why the boring on purpose was grown, so I can stay out of those situations. After that, it's all about knowing what you need to do and where you need to be, and always having something better to do in your back pocket. If you're out at a party and things get a little too rowdy for you, have a reason to leave ready to go. Something that you can go work on, someplace you could go be, someone you need to go check in on, that you can get yourself out of a situation at any point in time. My kicker is always, my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. And ironically, I actually wake up around 3 a.m. and sort of blink a couple times and roll around back and forth until the alarm goes off at 4, because I'm used to doing it from the radio. And I'm just giving myself sort of extra sleep time because I don't need to be up quite that early. But I have a reason to leave early, anything going on, because I get up early. I have other duties to attend to if it's not quite so late that I can go check in on. I have a wife I may have to go check on. I have a kid at home who's under 12, so she needs special attention to get her ready for the next day. I have a kid who's in his 20s, so I can use him as an excuse to go check in on him. I have those friends and family members I told you about that sort of like me and deal with the fact that my quirks and just crazy stuff because they're there. I have work. I work a lot. I have work that is my main duty from a paycheck. I have my side work, stuff like this, where I may need to work on something that may not be all that exciting to them, but it's pretty important to me, and I think it does have some excitement to it. And the real kicker about this stuff is you can't be the crazy drama person and then claim to want to escape the role of crazy drama. Unless you are the crazy drama person and now you're trying to turn over a new leaf, and then people are looking at you strange because you're the person that usually kicks up all the drama, but now you're saying you want to be a more genteel person because you're kind of getting out of that world. That is okay. If they don't understand it, they can't get it, they don't love you now that you're less drama, now that you're less of the entertainment for them, then you can find more boring people on purpose to hang out with. Or more people who are drama that will deal with you being less drama, because that means that's more drama for them. Oddly enough, people who, you notice how people who are introverted and extroverted can be best friends because the talker can just blow out and just overtake the conversation, and the other person just kind of nods and whatever and just likes the company. Those work out a lot. Those work out well. So I ask you consider being more boring and doing it on purpose to advance your outer goals, whatever you want to do. Make sure you're not a natural bore first, or if you are a natural bore, you stay in your lane and know that it is what you are and people can get with it and you don't just become a downer for them. Make sure that you have reasons to pull yourself out of situations, that pull yourself out of the excitement to move on to something else, just in case things get too rowdy. And of course, the big kicker is make sure you're not the dramatic person doing a quick and sometimes a very harsh change in reality to everybody else, because people may not work out that as best as possible. If you're on a path of improvement and they know this, they'll go for it. If you just all of a sudden stop, hitting the bars when you were the guy who basically closed them down, people will ask questions and you will have to explain it. It is what it is. But I ask, give it a shot. Boring on purpose, not as boring as you think it may be. Thank you for joining us for this week's 10-Minute Life Lesson podcast. Thank you for listening to a person who is boring on purpose. And like I say, I'm boring on purpose because I do it for you, the love of you guys, being able to focus less time on being out in the streets and ripping and running and more time on focused content and, my actual job and paying the bills and taking care of my family. It's a boon to you. So hopefully you understand and you are okay with me being boring on purpose because of what we provide to you. We, the ultimate team behind all the podcasts at More Better Media, provide to you. From the feedback that I get mostly positive. So I'm assuming you guys are down with that. So thank you so much. More feedback at jclevelandpayne.net. More podcasting in less time. If 10 minutes is way too much for a life lesson, give me 90 seconds. Look for Steps to Your Better You wherever your podcasts are found. We're there as well with that one. It's flat up 90 seconds and you're done. Not even the salesy stuff here. It's just 90 seconds of the message. It's an open tease and it's just done. It's there. And then about 20 seconds, if not much more, like 15 of where to find more stuff. If you're looking for coaching, we're getting back in the coaching game. I say we because some of the other guys in the backs and behind the scenes, even the editors that we're doing, they want to do some more helping people out in different things. So we're focusing on the things we're good at, which is the content stuff. You'll see that growing, ever growing, as we try to rebuild the brand that is More Better You, and the process and accountability stuff. That's simple coaching. We literally go over what it is you want to accomplish in a short period of time, and then we check in on you to say, did you do it? And if you didn't do it, ask you why you didn't do it. And because we're an accountability coach, we won't just say, well, I just didn't get around to it. We got to work through how it was missed and whether it really is important or not to be accountable for, and whether we should change that message, that task with something else that's more important. We do all that as well. Email me right now for messaging on that. We'll redo something formal fairly soon, I think. But if you're looking for a coaching, accountability coaching, or looking for some media coaching, some media training, podcast and video and blog sort of guidance and coaching, let us know and we'll do what we can. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to this podcast as well as Steps to Your Better You. Leave ratings and reviews if you are that type of person. And as I said, feedback at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for the 10-Minute Life Lesson podcast. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. For all the folks that help me work these things out at More Better Media LLC and just all the other brands we do for stuff, we thank you and we implore you, come back next week. We've got another great episode planned. for the 10-Minute Life Lesson podcast from yourbetteryou.info.
So that was boring on purpose. Was it boring? That was on purpose. So that's it. That was the external content. DTM Deepa, how do we go with this?
Yeah, now that's it. Do you want opinion from people?
Anybody wants to share any comments or feedback from what we heard?
Or any questions?
259 episodes, as you can see. Look.
What I noticed actually was it was a podcast, which we always have, but then there was a sales pitch at the end of it. So it's another technique or another. So usually people have a content share, or they share a passion, or then they keep talking. They invite the person to come back for keep listening more and things like that, right? So, but this one was a unique one, which had a sales pitch in the end, which said that if you want to do similar content, this is our expertise, come back. So it just, how do you use speaking? How do you use different techniques to eventually get some money in your pocket? So that was my takeaway from this one.
Yeah, that's good. That means like I recently heard one session on podcasting that this can be your second income. So
yeah, the last session we had was how do you make money from the podcast? How do you monetize it? So does it really make money? And that was the lead the guest speaker had shared. So yeah.
In a year's time, we will start earning. So Podcasters Club is helping people to earn also. Good. Any other?
It's a lifelong content. It's a lifelong content. So whatever you create, it's for lifelong, and it just keeps going.
Exactly like the YouTube. Yeah, though our name is Podcasters, we support all digital presentations. So that's what the speciality of Podcasters Club. And digital life, when we look at our life in that aspect, I think all are living digital lives at this moment. We cannot have our own private life at this moment, but if you are not able to, or if you are forbidden from looking at WhatsApp or Insta or Facebook, you may not be able to sleep peacefully at 10. Oh, how many messages I have missed today? Anything important? My God, the world must be missing me. I'm that important a person. That's what social media is making us to believe, though it may not be true, but it is true also. It is giving that kind of inclusiveness. But certainly, yes, we need to have that balance. We need to have kind of control over our use. But one thing is that life is evolving. Prior COVID time, if you remember, all the parents must be, screaming at their kids. If you touch that, my mobile again, then believe me, for next 1 week, you will not be touching your iPad, or I will not feed you. What and all we were, making, what and all drama. But now we are going behind them. Please log into this online class, please. So, so what was it before and what is it now? I was thinking, my God, I was screaming at my daughter, mentioning that, oh, the what is it? The vibration, the ultraviolet, what and all I used to make up to keep my daughter away from mobile. Oh my God, I didn't change my device. Now I started begging, please log into the class and listen to the class. Otherwise, you will not be able to make a good life after, parents sit there and all. So, I mean, this is it, all our perceptions. But still, as I mentioned, we need to have certain controls. Facebook, especially, I was just reading, we tend to log in our Facebook account across all the devices. And when we change our device, before selling it or before throwing that particular device, please ensure that we logged out of those accounts. We just need to go to settings and privacy and settings, and then now itself please try to do maybe at least 5 to 7 devices you must have logged Facebook your account with. So where there is under settings and privacy, you can see where and all you have logged in. So if any device which does not belongs to you at this moment, please log out from all the devices, and then only one step you have to log in one time. So this is one thing we all need to do. And then again, WhatsApp is eating up our entire device memory, the speed. So we must be like, instead of spending 5 minutes on browsing through all the WhatsApp messages, maybe we are taking longer time because the memory and which is affecting the speed of the device. What we can do is like add that star, use that practice the use of that star favorite for the favorite messages, and then clear all the messages. So if you had a fight with DTM Lakshmi or Fantastico Ahmed previously, you are just forgetting things because without WhatsApp previous messages. Yeah, this is what I'm doing with Lakshmi. Yeah?
I am logging out. I'm going to log myself out of all the groups, all the WhatsApp groups. And then I'm going to say, DTM Deepa told me to log.
No, not this, but clear the messages in between. Clear the messages in between. Because at that spur of the moment, it is similar to what we speak. Yeah, when I am angry, I actually, mentioned, yeah, this is what you have done and I don't like this. And, but next day our memory is actually kind of, what is that, programmed to forget some of the things. But WhatsApp, we have to do it. So please do that. This is one of the very important. I request distinguished Toastmaster Abida to do that, at least for my messages for today.
1 minute. I'm waiting for that. What did I say? Yes, we need proofs and evidences. So for that, we need to have our messages. And moreover, I came to know something. I got to know from my children. It seems even after you clear, if you're looking out for memory as such, it seems it doesn't much happen with the memory of the WhatsApp messages, whatever you're deleting. It has to be deleted right away somewhere, I don't know, inside. That we need to find out, that hack or whatever. Even the pictures which we delete, it has to be deleted right from, not only from the gallery or whatever, it seems somewhere inside, I don't know. They don't tell me exactly what is inside. So I keep asking them. So need to learn more about how to,
Okay, let me tell you what we can do. See, we have to download only the pictures what is required. Not all good morning messages to be downloaded. So in the settings, please ensure that once you click, then only it has to be downloaded into the device. Otherwise, no need. Initially, I used to keep that option open. So all the good morning messages, at least 100 per day, will be automatically used to get downloaded. So when after that, if you clear the message, the gallery will have all those good morning messages, but WhatsApp will clear the message. So that's what DTM Abida was just mentioning. It will not clear the memory unless you have the first initial setup in the beginning, not to download the unnecessary flyers, posters, because nowadays we are in at least 100 Toastmasters groups, and in all the 100 groups, we can have the same invite. So just imagine, getting downloaded with all those chunks of information. If we have podcasters meetings, we need only podcasters invite to be downloaded in the mobile, right? We don't need 100 other meetings invitation. Anyway, be able to attend.
We had an experience of somebody coming in as a sergeant at arms, if you remember, DTM Deepa.
Exactly, yeah.
Because of the Zoom meetings.
2 meetings the same day, same time, and the SA of the other meeting logged in podcasters meeting, and he was ready. Why it is already 7 o'clock? Why can I do my call to order? Oh, okay. That is our say. That was what we were doing. Is this our say today? I mean,
are you serious?
Appointed. This is a real experience. Yeah,
wow.
This is a real experience. Yeah. So digital life is actually good. Is giving us inclusion. It is giving us happiness that we are connecting. The world is becoming one. It is becoming a small house thing, but at the same time, it is putting us into a lot of embarrassment, as our Toastmaster Deepika was mentioning. But one thing is that distinguished Toastmaster Dhanu had mentioned. She shared this particular experience. She couldn't join. She was mentioning about one brilliant incident, not incident, experience as such. The gavel clubs across the world. Now, even DTM Abida is part of that, the connection. Initially, gavel clubs were not that connected, but now in that global gavel network has 170 clubs in the network, and all of them are connected. And region-wise, they have groups. And I am sure, I know DTM Abida is the head of one group in Oman. And so this is kind of, a brilliant piece of positive thing from digital or the benefits of digital life actually, or the inventions, if we can say. So many good things are happening now from across the world. We have attendees here also in many Toastmasters Club. We have many attendees from here to India clubs and India and US, Oman. So many people are able to meet. So it's a good thing. So let's have that, but at the same time, let's try to control, or let's have our own personal life as well. With that note, let me hand over the screen back to our president, Toastmaster Alifia, for the rest of the formalities. Thank you very much for listening. Back to you, Toastmaster Alifia.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you, DTM Deepa, DTM Avida, and let me acknowledge the constant and consistent efforts of our timer, DTM Lakshmi, to do the silent role of keeping all of us accountable to work on and within time and stuff like that. So it's been amazing. We've had two contents, which was very powerful. One which had a background music, one which was beautifully done without a constant background music throughout the content, and creatively used the parts of thing being with music. We've had a third party of a professional podcaster that was content shared, which was uniquely ended with a sales pitch. So we're seeing three different versions within one meeting, and what inspires us to do our own is something that we want to keep learning and we want to keep evolving. But this is a learning ground, and this is the place where we fail forward. And this is a place where you actually get feedback. And some of the feedbacks that we understand, we get conflicting. Sometimes you get something one meeting, and the next time when you present your second content, you get completely 360-degree of a feedback. But what are we taking away from that? That your listeners are unique, and every listener will have a perspective. So if one person will give you a perspective and another person gives you a completely opposite perspective, it's about you to understand what works and what doesn't, and which audience are you really catering to. But what is also very powerful is, instead of having just one person evaluating a content in a typical Toastmaster meeting, here we are going very powerful by going into a panel evaluation where all our listeners is our audience and all our attendees is giving a feedback. So you not only get an expert feedback from someone who's a very powerful speaker, like maybe Toastmasters Smita or, but we also can get someone who's completely a layman, who's not even a Toastmaster, who doesn't even do speaking ever, or who's not even still joined into the journey, who's never experienced any content, but how does he see and perceive your content? And that's the intention, and that's the drive that we're doing. So very happy to have you guys, and we are going to keep you accountable, like it or not, to get you started with your first one and keep you going with your second and the third. And it's been a great journey, and we're learning as much as you all are. So none of us is experts, and don't worry about not having started. Just come up with your first one, and we're here to handhold you all the way through. So with that note, let's take a few pointers from some of our guests. We just have Zahida and Smita. If you want to share a quick 30-second, what was your takeaway? What could we do better? Or any feedback would be great. And looking forward to see how we can support you more. Zahida, let me start with you. And then we have Smita.
Hi, Alifia. I was just about to leave, but it's been a very interesting session, a very different one, which I even put in my comments. And I don't know, I feel like adopting this and having a session at my club as podcasters, introducing it. But I just mentioned in the chat that if you could share with me the methodology, how you guys are running this, what are the timelines? And like you mentioned earlier, that everybody is an evaluator in this.
Yes.
So I like to know how it works. If anyone can share that with me, so I would like to even bring it up. I mean, this is a next week going, next level of Toastmasters. I think it's a evolution in Toastmasters. So this is how it's going to be. So I would like to learn more about it. Yeah. And it's been a great session. Yes, it's been a great session. I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Great. We will connect with you on a one-on-one and we'll brainstorm on what we decided to do different. But this was an advanced level of communication and we want to get to the next level and do the most with everything. But Zahida, I'll spend a one-on-one with you and give you some inputs after we're done. So let's have Smita so that we can officially then find the close and then we'll have a free open chit chat after.
Okay.
Thank you, Alifia. And thank you, dear Toastmasters. It's been a very informative, a great learning session. And the way you people run, where there's a speaker who's presenting and you have a panel and everybody and anybody can just pitch in. I think it's a very, very brave thing to do. And kudos to the speakers and the ones who present, because they are open to such sort of views. They have no idea, whether they're getting a positive view or a negative view, or how are the listeners going to take it. It's very brave for you to do. I'm not sure how and when I'll be brave enough to put up a podcast of myself. And hearing, when you hear yourself, you're not used to hearing your own voice, in the sense that hearing it from another device. And when you record it and when you hear it, you sound completely different. It's sometimes very difficult to relate with that voice and know that, okay, this is how I actually sound. This is how people, listen to me. So thank you so much. And Toastmaster Abida, I'm truly sorry if I have in any way offended you. I've been feeling very bad throughout,
Sorry to interrupt. You did your evaluation. You gave me your feedback. And as everyone might know that I'm a procrastinator a bit. So this evening, 5 o'clock only, I just recorded. Earlier one, I was not happy with the earlier one. That was the reason. And then started working on technicalities on Audacity. I'm quite satisfied. Where I have to do my ups and downs is, of course, and as you mentioned, the hissing and all that. What happens is, I used to go on stages, isn't a stage speaker earlier. So sometimes the frequency doesn't relate.
Yes.
And believe me or not, I was a humorous speaker. Means I stopped doing that now, no more contest. So when I want to relate something, nothing is happening. So there needs to be an explanation. The pause doesn't work. Sometimes you can't relate the frequency and people are not laughing at you. People are not smiling at you. Oh my God, what's happening? Yeah, of course, we know the whole technicalities of, how the audience is going to be, but still you expect, isn't it? So here and there, the explanation started coming in, what it is. But I would surely take your feedback, constructive feedback. Not
just with a feedback here, but ever since I've joined Toastmasters International, wherever I, probably that teacher in me, whatever I've been doing.
Toastmasters
teacher too. Abhila's a teacher too.
Okay, that's so wonderful, You try and you want you want to better the other person's performance, and so I think sometimes you get swayed into it. So
that was fantastic. Your feedback, yes, of course, I will.
Detailed.
Good enough.
But that's a powerful thing about Toastmasters, right? And feedback is the most important that we get.
Yeah.
Which, if you just put your podcast out there, nobody's going to even give you feedback. I mean, you don't even, normally when you're speaking in front of people in a stage, at least people laugh or not, you get your feedback on the spot. But in a podcast, who's going to give you that feedback? So that's how much more powerful this club becomes, when you get that.
Thanks to the Podcasters Club, of course, when I joined, about your voice, you were talking about your voice, isn't it? How you record, how you, initially, yes, none of us, most of us, at least we don't like our voice to be heard, and we may not like it. But on and off, people like these people, they're always motivating you, they're encouraging, oh, captivating voice, impressing, inspiring. Then you come to know, yes, the voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
We work more, we start realizing, yes, there is something in the voice. So let's work on that.
Let's work on it. Wonderful, wonderfully said. Wonderfully said.
It's all that. So you take in acha bhi lo, bura bhi lo, and then you improve yourself.
Very right. Very right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of it. I really love it.
Toastmasters, Meeta, I'll tell you one thing. Until you do your own podcast, all the digital hacks that Toastmaster DT and Deepa gave throughout today, or every message that came out, will not be relevant. You'll not be able to get that. But once you've done your own podcast, then even the evaluation feedback you will give to the podcasters will be completely,
in a different manner.
Empathy. You'll have that empathy that, okay, you went through it.
Understood.
You understand the journey that they have. So where she's come from to where she is today, and she did something completely different, and we know that journey that she's come through. So.
Yes. You know, Alifia, believe me, my evaluations or whatever my views are always from a constructive point of view, because when you're out in the world, the listener is not concerned with how and from where I have started. No, he's not interested. He's only interested in those few minutes that he has switched on his device, and should he spend those few minutes there, or should he move on to another one? So, the listeners are very ruthless and they're very cruel. So, or for that matter,
the power of, again, the mixed feedback you can get. So she would get feedback from people like us who've heard her and seen her journey, but she can also get a fresh feedback from someone like Zahida or like you, who have never heard her before.
Never heard her. Very right.
Perspective.
Very right. Very right.
Someone who would listen to her really when she launches her podcast. And she's been procrastinating. After all this level of speaking audios that she's recording, she's still not launched herself on Spotify. Right, Avida?
I so relate with her.
Sorry, Alifia. Sorry, I just received a phone call quickly, some kind of message. I missed on what you told me. I'm sorry.
You're celebrating your procrastination because you've still not launched your podcast.
I have done it on Anchor, my dear.
Are you published? Okay.
Yes, of course. 4 of them. Yes.
Wonderful.
You play it from your PowerPoint, right? So when you play it from your PowerPoint, I know you're not on your
No, this has to be literally fine-tuned. Apart from that, the other 3, one was on synchronicity, if you remember.
Yes. That's on Anchor.
I think even the Red Riding Hood is all posted. 3 or 4 of them I have posted.
Awesome.
Launched in.
Congratulations.
I would love to hear them.
Can I say something on that?
Yes.
Just sorry to barge in. There was a video recording that I had done. I had done a project actually in office, and it was on software called Camtasia.
Yes.
And
Camtasia.
so I had recorded my voice in that to explain how the software works. This is related to engineering in aviation. So there was a software that I had created the pages and how it works. So I literally spoke. So now I'm able to relate that it was something like this. Exactly. So it's an interesting thing. The more you do it, the more perfect you get at it.
Yes.
And I remember somebody had told me, one of the students had told me, "Do you sing, ma'am?" I said, "No, why?" See, you have a soothing voice. I was like, I just brushed it off. Today I'm thinking about his comment, that in podcasters, you actually need to have a nice voice, soothing, and I mean, with different fluctuations that you can play with. And it's a good journey, actually. Yeah, something exciting. Yeah, exciting. And you all have got great voices, I must say. All of you, yourself, Abida, and all of you have good voices. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks so much
So,
for encouragement. And yeah, we just hope we can all inspire each other and get them all started.
yes, always, always. So
But you
I'll
should
make
get
a
your
move
first
now.
podcast as well. Yeah, we should officially close. And
Yeah.
Saida, if you have any thing you want to brainstorm on, we can do a quick 2 minutes right now. We have some senior members here: DTM Deepa, DTM Lakshmi, DTM Abida. They are all a part of our ExCom, and the brainchild of why podcasters runs the way it runs. So all their contributions have been what has made us what we are today. So if you want 2 minutes, we can have that quick brainstorm. I'm going to